Tank Evans reporting for Saturday Morning Hero. I want to welcome you to the first installment of our Saturday Morning Hero Legends series. We have with us tonight Miss Carolyn Stewart. She is a longtime contributor of youth sports here in the North Dallas area, really across the state of Texas in the North Texas region, and former league commissioner for the Spring Valley Athletic Association Tackle Football League. How you doing tonight, Carolyn?
Doing well.
Good to see you. It's been a while. How you been?
Yes. Been trying to get like I used to be.
Aren't we all?
Going to the gym 3 times a week, riding the bicycle.
Nice. You get a lot more exercise than me. I need to follow your lead. So the first thing I wanted to ask you about is the league itself. I know the Spring Valley Athletic Association started in 1968. So we're looking at the 50th anniversary of the league. But can you tell us, like, who started the league, why they started the league, and maybe even how they started it?
Pat Horan and Hockaday and some other men in the Spring Valley area, and there was some in the Bowie area and Spring Creek area, and Carol Maxwell was involved, but they the kids were that played on the first team were probably a year or two older than my girls, or maybe they were out. The boys could have been Allison's age.
What sport was it? Was it football?
They started with football and I think baseball. And then I'm not sure whether they played basketball the first year or not, but I know they played football and baseball.
Do you have any idea what the participation was like back then?
I don't know. I know that a bunch of men got together and really wanted to have NFL teams, so they put up money to buy NFL jerseys.
So the first year y'all did the league, they had the replica jerseys?
No, they didn't the first year. It was the second or third year before they did that.
So around 1970, 71.
Yeah, I think. Okay. They started with the NFL stuff.
Wow. How did the kids respond to that?
Oh, they loved it. And, of course, most of them wanted to be the Cowboys, but everybody couldn't be the Cowboys.
Right.
But the first boys soccer team I coached was the Cowboys.
So they played the Blue Star Life on the soccer pitch. I like it. I like it. So the first year you didn't have any boys, so you had your girls.
So we started in I believe it was 69 or 70. We started the girls sports program in SVAA with basketball. And at that time, and of course when I played, you played 3 girls, 3 forwards on one end and 3 guards on the other end, and that's how we started out. We did that for 1 year, and then we changed to boys' rules.
And that's still 5-on-5?
5-on-5, and we played 2 grades together until the program really got going good. 3rd and 4th grade, and then 5th and 6th were together.
Nice. So, where did y'all get the funds to do the jerseys, the uniforms? Because I noticed a lot of these teams, a lot of photos that I've seen from guys that grew up around us, they have like pictures with sponsorships and stuff on them. The league had sponsors?
We had sponsors in the beginning at SVAA and the board of directors, which a lot of them are still trustees supposedly, and some still are alive.
Nice.
In the area.
Wow. Yeah. That's pretty incredible. I mean, it's been a very long time, and I could tell you, I think I heard the name SVAA probably for the first time in maybe the summer of '80. Yeah, the summer of '80. I think I was getting ready to go to the 5th grade, and I lived over in the Lake Highlands area off of Forest Lane. And these kids were like, "You gonna play SVA?" And I was like, "I don't know." I was kind of scared though. Moving from California to Texas is pretty terrifying. I did want to ask you about this. You have a stack of old Super Bowl programs, but on the top here, I see the very first Saturday Morning Hero newsletter that I tried to run back in the mid to late '90s. I'm so proud to see this, and you see we're still at it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm glad. I'm glad I found that. I probably had more, but that's what I found.
Yes, ma'am.
And I've got Super Bowl programs, which go way back.
Yeah, so one there is '93.
Yeah, I think 91 might be the oldest one. But 98, 99.
Wow. Just a bunch of history right here. That's one of the reasons why we wanted you to be our first interview for sure.
Maybe I didn't bring them all out here. I think I had some early 90 ones. But we progressed on up. We started out kind of with this one, and then we progressed.
Put it out there, let the folks see it.
That was the first one. And then I figured out we could take pictures of the kids later on. We had some of teams on there. And then in later years,
Got a little bit more sophisticated?
we did this one kid on, and it was just somebody that I thought looked like a real football player.
Yeah, I remember that '05 Super Bowl. I think I called that one.
Yeah, there's some real good football players whose pictures are here.
So, it's been pretty incredible. Me, knowing of you for as long as I have, and then seeing, some of your grandkids come through the league and getting a chance to coach one of them for sure, in John Ross. I wanted to ask you, who are some of the young men? Well, they're not young men anymore, but who are some of the kids that you remember coaching in football? And do you still talk to them today?
I do. I talk to a lot of them on Facebook, and then I used to talk to Detron Smith, who was on our Vikings team.
Yeah, Super Bowl champion Detron.
He was our tailback. He loved Big Macs, and so for every touchdown, we'd get him a Big Mac.
That's recruiting. You violating the rules right there. I like it though.
But yeah, he did good, and I see him. And then there was another really good tailback, Maurice Perkins.
Yes, his son just won the state championship at Allen.
You're kidding.
I am so serious.
Okay, well, he has a limousine company now, I think. And he came, I saw him not too many years ago. Yes, and I wondered, I hadn't kept up with his son.
Yeah, they moved on up.
Good.
Yes, he is. He plays defensive back, and he is pretty awesome kid.
And Maurice was so good, and I knew how he moved, and I needed a goalie for my soccer team. And he played goalie on my soccer team. He played football for the Steelers.
Yes. I actually met him on the field at Fred's. The very first time, I think he was in the 5th grade or 6th grade, and I met him for the first time then. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Maurice was a neat kid, and I also coached his little brother in later years in some sport. I don't remember which one it was.
Okay. What all sports did you coach? I mean, it seems like you were pretty well-rounded.
I coached everything.
Soccer.
I coached the boys in soccer to start with, and t-ball, and then moved to baseball, and basketball, and football. And then Ross and I had a track team because our girls wanted to run track, and Richardson wouldn't let them run on their team because they lived in Dallas.
Oh, my goodness, the boundaries.
Well, but the high school track coach, let us use the field at Richardson.
Okay.
And so we practiced early mornings at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning up there. And this was part of the TAAF, Texas Amateur Athletic Association, and our kids ended up doing real good after a year or two at the state meet and I even won the shot put.
That's awesome. So you are a legend. I'm so glad we're getting a chance to sit down and talk to you tonight because
That was a fun thing.
oh, I'm sure it was.
But we had a lot of good athletes, and the kids had fun. We would go wherever the state meet was, Abilene or
Make the road trip, huh?
wherever, yeah. It was fun, but after we coached our girls until they quit playing SVAA sports. SVAA really didn't have any high school stuff at that time. And, of course, the boys, we used to have SVAA baseball for high school boys, and we had so many fights and bad things that happened that we quit having high school boys.
Older boys would get into
It was not wonderful.
Wow.
But that was the worst. The coaches resented me as a female coach in baseball more than any other sport.
Guess I can't be too surprised because back then.
I know, but in sixth grade, we got the sportsmanship award, and that was the biggest accomplishment that I ever had.
Sure, that's a huge one.
Because the coaches voted on it, so it took a lot of years to get.
To get that kind of respect, at least.
I know it, but I was glad because I didn't want the boys to suffer because they had a female coach.
Right. Hey, as long as you could do the job, it didn't really matter to me because I think from the moment I actually met you in person, I'd heard your name a million times, but from the moment I met you, I had automatic respect for you. So I know that's how you carried yourself out there on the field. So those kids had no choice but to listen to you.
Well, they were good to do that, and of course I had some good help. My husband helped as long as he was alive, and Jack Bundy and Tom Farr in football.
Didn't you say Jack and Tom had a plan, or Jack and Ross had a plan to make sure that you could coach football?
Ron Bennett was president of SVAA, and it was, I can't remember when it was, but he had asked me to start an SVAA newsletter, which I did, and the school district printed it for us, and then we mailed it out. We didn't have internet then.
Right.
We mailed it out to everybody, and that's how I kind of got involved with it. And then I worked at his company, which was in the personnel recruiting business, and that was, and that's when they knew I coached everything but football,
right.
And they thought I really ought to do that. So.
And you enjoyed it, though, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
At that time, Jack coached a lot in Plano, and they had tryouts and picked their own teams, and I went and helped him with his tryouts a lot. But of course, in SVAA, we didn't. We had team formation according to elementary school.
So when did they establish like the weight limits and stuff?
We've always had weight limits.
Okay.
We've increased them a little bit over the years, but not a lot. I mean,
No, yeah.
The point is still that the little kids not to get overwhelmed by the big ones.
That's right. And a lot of these leagues, around town, they want, some of these kids or parents won't bring their kids to SVA because the weight limits are so
That's right.
low. But hey, it is what it is, right?
Yeah, and we have to protect the little ones.
Absolutely. And then, once they get to the next level, then they can learn and figure out whether or not they really want to play the game.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, it's been a pleasure talking to you tonight. I know we got this big picture over here. If you want to slide that over, we can point to some of the guys that are on there. I think we had a photo of Joe Ramos down there for sure.
Yeah.
I grew up with Joe up in Mid Park Apartments when we met him.
I think he played guard on our football team.
Yes, ma'am.
And Dan Boylan. I don't know who all these. There's Zach Eisenberg in here.
That's the one you said he's the greatest tackle in the league.
No, that's Phillip over here. Phillip was the toughest tackle in the league. I had to tell him every time every time he came up to the blocking dummy, how tough he was. He liked to hear that.
Toughest tackle in the league. Well, once again, we're here with Carolyn Stewart. We'd like to thank y'all for checking us out with the first installment of our Legend series. Look for more in the future. Mark Tank Evans signing off.